The ranger stepped on a dry branch, and the crack snapped through the still air like a shot. He froze. Dust rose around his boots, drifting in the heavy, humid air. His heartbeat thudded in his chest. Somewhere nearby, something large was moving, not walking, but sliding. Grass parted in a slow, deliberate ripple that he gripped his rifle tighter. The smell of damp soil and dry leaves mixed into the air. Then came the hiss, low, sharp, and close. The ranger took a step back, eyes scanning the tall grass. His hand trembled as he reached for his radio, the strap digging into his shoulder. From the shade of an acacia tree, something dark moved. At first, it looked like a shadow, but then the sunlight caught the glint of scales. A python, massive, thick as the tree's trunk, slid into view, coiling around the roots. Its eyes, black and glassy, were fixed on him. Before he could react, a deep rumble shook the ground. He turned sharply. Out of the brush came another shape, golden, heavy, deliberate. A lion stepped into the clearing. Muscles rippled under its coat as it stopped between the trees, eyes fixed on the snake. Sunlight caught the edges of its mane, glowing like fire. The ranger stood frozen, too stunned to move. The python shifted, tightening its coils, preparing to strike. The lion lowered its head, growling low. The snake moved first. It lunged, fast and violent, striking toward the ranger. He stumbled back, hitting the dirt hard, choking on the dust. The air left his lungs. The python's body whipped across the ground, aiming for him, but the lion moved, faster than he could believe. With a roar that split the silence, it leapt, landing between the man and the serpent. For a few seconds, everything stopped. The ranger crouched behind a rock, breathing hard, unable to look away. The lion stood tall, tail twitching, muscles coiled like a spring. The python's tongue flicked out, tasting the air. The snake struck again, but this time the lion met it with a swipe of its paw. The claws slashed deep, ripping through scales. The snake let out a violent hiss that echoed through the open plain. The ranger ducked lower, his radio clattering against the ground. The smell of blood, sharp and metallic, filled the air. The lion growled again, stepping sideways, never breaking eye contact with the serpent. The snake coiled around a fallen branch, using it for leverage, preparing for another strike. Without warning, the lion lunged. Its claws raked across the python's body, tearing flesh. The ground shook as the snake thrashed, tail whipping through the dust. The ranger could feel the vibration through his boots. He stayed low, gripping the dirt, watching the fight play out in front of him, raw and brutal that a sudden movement broke his focus. A vulture launching from the nearby brush, its wings slicing through the air. The brief distraction made the snake hesitate. The lion took the chance, clamping its jaws near the python's neck. Teeth sank deep into the thick skin. The serpent twisted violently, but the lion held firm. The ranger could hear the deep, rhythmic sound of the lion's breathing, heavy, strained, but determined. The python's tail wrapped around the lion's torso, trying to crush it, but the big cat's strength didn't falter. The two creatures locked in a deadly grip, each fighting for control. The ranger's chest ached. Sweat dripped down his face, stinging his eyes. He wanted to move, to run, but his legs wouldn't respond. He knew one wrong motion might draw the python's attention again. Then came movement from the edge of the trees, silent, smooth. A lioness emerged, her eyes sharp, her body low to the ground. She circled quietly, taking position beside the lion. The python paused, sensing the shift. Two predators now. The odds had changed. The lions didn't roar or snarl. They just moved, precise, measured, communicating through motion alone. The ranger watched, mesmerized. They worked as one. The lion feinted left, the lioness right. The python lashed out, but both cats dodged in perfect rhythm. Dust swirled around them like smoke. The ranger crouched lower, his heart pounding so hard it hurt. He'd seen animals fight before, but never like this, not with such coordination. The lions weren't fighting for food. They were defending something. Maybe him, maybe their ground. He couldn't tell. But it was clear they would not let the snake win. The python lunged again, this time toward the ranger. The lion reacted instantly, leaping across its path. It landed on the snake's back, claws digging deep. The python's body thrashed violently, knocking dust and stones into the air. The lioness moved in from the side, biting near the head. The hiss turned into a shriek, the sound raw and piercing. For a long moment, all the ranger could hear was the sound of battle, claws tearing, scales scraping, the low growl of the lions. Then, abruptly, it stopped. The snake went still. Its body twitched once, twice, then lay flat. The lions didn't move, their eyes still locked on it. Waiting, the ranger's breath came in short gasps. He realized he'd been holding it. The only sound left was the wind moving through the grass. The python's thick body glistened with cuts, blood pooling dark in the dirt. The lion stepped back slowly. The lioness followed, her sides rising and falling with each deep breath. They watched the motionless snake for a few seconds more, then relaxed, tails swaying lightly. The ranger got to his feet, still shaking. His legs felt weak, his throat dry. He took a cautious step forward, then another. The lions didn't move. They just turned their heads slightly to look at him. There was no threat in their gaze now, only something calm and steady. As if they understood he wasn't the enemy, he stopped a few feet away, lowering his hand toward the ground in quiet respect. He didn't say much, just whispered, "Thank you." His voice cracked, lost in the open air. The lion blinked once, slow and deliberate, then turned away. The lioness followed. Together, they walked back into the tall grass, their golden bodies fading into the sunlit haze until they were gone. The ranger stood alone. The wind brushed past him, carrying the scent of dust and blood. He looked down at the marks in the dirt, deep paw prints, the faint trail of the python's retreat. The savannah stretched endlessly before him, golden and quiet once more as he knelt, pressing his hand to the warm earth. Everything around him felt alive, not peaceful, but pulsing with the raw rhythm of survival. The kind of silence that comes after something greater than words. The sun began to drop, painting the horizon in orange and violet. The ranger straightened slowly, his shirt soaked with sweat. He looked once more toward the place where the lions had vanished. He knew he'd never forget their eyes. Fierce, intelligent, and strangely gentle, he took a deep breath and exhaled slowly, as if letting go of everything he'd been holding inside. Even in chaos, he murmured, "There's loyalty. There's courage." The wind picked up, carrying his words across the grasslands. He turned toward the path back to camp, still shaking but alive, knowing he had witnessed something rare, not just survival, but the wild's own form of mercy. As he walked away, the savannah returned to its endless hum, the insects, the rustling leaves, the heartbeat of nature itself, and somewhere out there, two lions disappeared into the fading light.